Hey guys, this is Angelic Nightmare 1990, and today I have a contest entry for Plagious Jenkins. So my first card is going to be Black Feather Backdraft. Normal spell, activate one of these following effects and skip your next battle phase. Add one level 4 or lower Winged Beast type monster from your deck to your hand, or select one spell or trap with black in its name from your graveyard and shuffle it back into your deck. Right away, as you can tell, this card is basically a reinforcement of the army, but with the drawback. You can essentially add any one of the mainstream Blackwing monsters that are primarily ran in the typical Blackwing deck. So the usual options would be like Kalute, Blizzard, and Gale. And an interesting combo with this card would be searching for Breeze. The reason why I say Breeze is because with Breeze's effect, when it's added to your hand by the effect of a spell card, you can automatically special summon it. So Black Feather Backdraft in combination with Breathe is a free special summon, and you don't waste your normal summon. And this combos really well with a Blackwing that's going to be released in the U.S. relatively soon, Gladius the Midnight Sun. Gladius the Midnight Sun's effect reads: if the only face-up monster you control is a Blackwing monster, except Gladius the Midnight Sun, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. So right away, this card allows you for turn 1 rank 3 monster plays or level 6 or 7 synchro plays. So in a sense, it's kind of like another tour guide depending on what you play. And because a lot, if not all, Blackwing decks do not use tour guide, which I don't recommend to begin with, this card can be somewhat of a substitute for it to give the deck a little bit more aggressiveness, as if they don't need it already. The versatility of this card is really great because you can search for a monster, or you can add things like cards for Black Feathers or Black Whirlwind from the graveyard back into your deck, so you can recycle it. And this card is also really good because it's splashable in other decks. Because if you read the effect, it doesn't specifically state Blackwing monsters, so it can be splashed into Mist Valley decks or Harpy Lady decks. Next, I have my trap card, Blackwing Burning Formation. Spell speed 2 trap. This card is I'm sorry. If 2 or more of your Blackwing monsters were destroyed this turn by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, special summon them from the grave in defense position. Monsters special summoned by this effect cannot be used as synchro material monsters and are banished during the end phase. This card is very similar to Double-Edged Sword technique for Samurais, but with a little bit of a different stipulation. Blackwing decks are notorious for making easy synchro cards, so this card forces them to use Xyz monsters for versatility. I would have made an Xyz monster, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Cardmaker.net doesn't exactly have that option just yet. So this card doesn't fit as well into my little circulation of cards as I would have liked. But going back to the card, because this card says destroy in general, this allows for monsters to be destroyed at battle and card effect multiple times during the turn, in order to fulfill this card's activation requirement. And as long as activation requirements are met, you can activate it during any point at the turn. So if your opponent is smashing grounds and then attacks you, you can activate it as long as the monsters were destroyed. And at the very least, this could be used as chump blocks. But a really powerful combo with this card during your opponent's battle phase is if one of the cards you destroyed was Gladius the Midnight Sun, because its ability to absorb an attack before being destroyed by battle can be pretty helpful. So it's like having a Necro Gardener in the grave, but on the field. Excuse me. The next Blackwing card I have, it's a rather different one. It's a Blackwing Carl the Descendant, level 9 light monster. Yes, it is a light Blackwing, and I'll go into it in just a moment. Like I said, level 9, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Wing Beast, obviously. It requires 1 Blackwing tuner or 2 or more Blackwing monsters. It doesn't have to be necessarily tuners or non-tuners. It could be a mix of all of them. Its effect reads: once per turn, you can discard 1 Blackwing monster to target 1 banished level 4 or lower Blackwing monster. Special summon that target to your side of the field and its effects are negated. This card is very unique because it has an attack to ram directly into a BLS or a Grapha if Gates is on the field. Also, it's a very unique synchro material monster. I'm sorry, not synchro material monster. A synchro monster because it's like Gotems for sabers. You don't need a non-tuner Blackwings or non-tuner monsters. Excuse me. And when I said about the light portion of the monster, I did this because a lot of the more competitive Blackwing decks use Effect Veilers and Thunder Kings, and because they try to utilize those two cards, they attempt to use Blackluster Soldier. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But with Carl the Descendant, that's just one more monster they can use. And more specifically with Carl's effect, it'll allow Blackwing decks to become a little bit more chaos-based if needed. And following that lead, if Blackwing decks use Allure of Darkness or Cards of Black Feathers, Carl the Descendant can help with that. Use its effect to ditch a card and return one of those monsters removed from play. So if it's value, its effect is going to be negated if it's on the field, so you can synchro with it right away. Next is Blackwing on Tetsu the Gourd. Dark, level 2, 700 attack, 200 defense, Winged Beast. And its effect reads, you can discard this card to the graveyard to add one Blackwing or Cards for Black Feathers from your deck to your hand. The card added to your hand cannot be activated the same turn you activate this card's effect. You can only activate the effect of Blackwing on Tetsu the Gourd once per turn. This card is very versatile in the deck because Blackwings have very little searching power and very little speed outside of Whirlwind, Shura, and the occasional Pot of Dualities and the Lord Darkness. But this card allows for second turn Blackwings as well as additional second turn draw power. This card provides the speed Blackwings need without it being broken. Excuse me. And this card is great if you draw it opening hand, and if you don't have Black Whirlwind or anything, or later to help get it a lot faster, obviously, or later on in the duel if you use the card my spell card that I mentioned, the very first one, Blackwing Backdraft. You add Black Whirlwind back to the deck, and then you pitch Gontetsu the Gourd to get it to your hand. Very very neat little combo. And it can help out the deck a lot. The next card I have is Toma the Gladiator. Level 3, Dark Tuner, 1400 attack, 1900 defense. Its effect, this card's controller must pay 500 life points during each of his or her standby phases. This is not optional. This card cannot be selected as an attack target if you control another Winged Beast type monster. When this face-up attack position monster is selected as an attack target, change this card to defense position. This card combos really well with Gladius the Midnight Sun, Bora, and Gale the Whirlwind. During the opening turn, you can summon this card and special summon one of the other cards to go into turn 1 Xyz or a turn 1 Synchro. Also, excuse me, during the first turn, if you summon this card in Gladius the Midnight Sun, you essentially have a wall. Because of Gladius's effect, it absorbs one hit, so you have to attack it twice. And Toma the Gladiator can't be attacked until after you get rid of the other Winged Beast type monsters. So if you summon another Toma the Gladiator while another one's already in play, you essentially have a wall that your opponent can't attack through. That's why I decided to put in the 500 life point stipulation. It is a requirement. It is a mandatory effect. Even with skill drain, even with effect veilers, fiendish chains, it is a payment. You have to pay it regardless. And so this card is great for stalling. If you're drawing, if you need to draw what you need. This card also provides field presence and protection that Spirit Reaper can't provide because of its self-destruction effect, especially with Butterfly Assassin or Papal Operative, the Photon Butterfly. Excuse me. If you set this card, your opponent flips it face up. If they attack into it, it's gonna go right into defense. So you have nothing to worry about too much. Next and finally, my last card, Blackwing Arrow the Drifter. Dark, level 4, 1500 attack, 300 defense. Its effect reads: when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Blackwing monster with 1500 attack or less from the deck in face-up defense position. A card special summoned in this way has its effect negated while face-up on the field. This card is great because it gives value variant decks the deck thinning that it needs, and the ability to get value out onto the field or into the grave a lot faster. This card also provides great field presence because it is a recruiting monster. Your opponent can essentially have to attack into it multiple times just so you can get rid of it. Excuse me. And so let's say your opponent has two monsters and you have a set Arrow the Drifter. They attack Arrow. You can search for another Arrow and then search for a value right afterwards. And this card is really great with a card that's going to be released in the U.S. Within this next year, I believe. And the monster's name is Blackwing Graham the Shining Star. And with it, and pretty much what Graham does, I can't remember the effect right off the top of my head, but it has to be synchro summoned first, so you can't use value with it. So you can't special summon it with value once in the grave, and it lets you special summon one level 4 lower monster, Blackwing monster from your hand to the field, and its effect is negated, or something like that. So with Graham the Shining Star and with Arrow, you'll be able to go into value, summon another level 4 monster like Shura Bora, go into Graham, and then go into another synchro or whatever you want. And that pretty much promotes more field swarming. And it also helps make your Kalut live. Because there's a good chance you'll always have a Blackwing monster on the field because of Arrow. Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the cards I made. This was a really fun contest. And the best of luck to everyone else out there. This is Jack Nightmare, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.